explains why. Imagine this. You're standing at the precipice of a profound realization, a truth that echoes through the annals of human psychology and resonates with the deepest chambers of the masculine soul. It's a truth not found in fleeting fads or superficial dating advice, but etched into the very bedrock of our archetypal inheritance, illuminated by the profound wisdom of Carl Jung. This isn't about manipulation. It's about mastery, an inner alchemy that transforms your perceived vulnerabilities into an undeniable allure, forging a magnetic field around you that compels a man to not just desire you, but to fantasize about you for nights without end. Before we delve into the intricate dance of the psyche, consider this. If you find yourself captivated by the whispers of ancient wisdom, if your soul yearns for a deeper understanding of human connection, and if you're ready to embrace a power that stems from within, then perhaps this channel is a sanctuary for your growth. We invite you to join a community that celebrates the unearthing of the authentic self, where every like and subscription is a silent acknowledgement of the journey we embark on together, a shared quest for empowerment and profound self-discovery. By engaging with this content, you're not just watching, you're actively participating in a revolution of self-worth. The male psyche, in its primal depths, is an intricate tapestry woven from archetypes, desires, and unconscious longings. It is often drawn, not to the easily acquired, but to the profoundly elusive, to that which hints at a deeper mystery, a hidden truth that promises both challenge and ultimate reward. When a woman speaks a truth, particularly one that transcends the superficial layers of interaction and then retreats into a silence imbued with self-possession, she taps into a primordial current within him. This is not about playing games or feigning disinterest. It is about embodying a sovereignty of self, a quiet assurance that speaks volumes without uttering another word. This silence, heavy with unspoken meaning, activates his Anima projection, that unconscious feminine image within him that seeks completion, understanding, and a mirror to his own soul. He will begin to project onto her the very qualities he yearns for, the ones she implicitly embodies through her confident withdrawal. Carl Jung understood that much of our attraction is rooted in these unconscious projections. A man often seeks in a woman the qualities of his own undeveloped anima, the intuitive, emotional, creative, and nurturing aspects he may have suppressed or ignored. When a woman acts in a way that aligns with these archetypal longings, particularly when she demonstrates a profound self-respect and an unwavering inner core, she becomes a vessel for his unconscious desires. The statement she makes, whether a boundary set, a profound insight shared, or a truth spoken from her authentic core, serves as a catalyst. It's not the words themselves, but the energy of conviction behind them, followed by the deliberate, confident withdrawal that ignites his imagination. He is left not with an answer, but with a question, a void that his own psyche rushes to fill with fantasies, interpretations, and a relentless contemplation of her essence. This is the seed of obsession, born not of pursuit, but of the magnetic void she creates. This powerful dynamic is also deeply intertwined with the concept of shadow work. For a man, encountering a woman who embodies such an unshakable presence can trigger a confrontation with his own unacknowledged shadow, particularly around themes of control, validation, and vulnerability. Her self-contained power can illuminate his own insecurities, his need to dominate, or to be constantly reassured. When she steps back, refusing to engage in the dance of external validation, she forces him inward. He begins to wrestle with his own internal landscape, attempting to decipher her motivations, to understand the source of her composure. This internal struggle, this journey into his own shadow, often manifests as an intensified focus on her, a profound mental and emotional engagement that transcends mere physical attraction. He is not just thinking of her. He is working through aspects of himself through the lens of her perceived presence. The woman who masters this art of strategic silence understands that true power lies not in pursuit, but in presence. She doesn't chase, she attracts. This principle echoes the Stoic philosophy, particularly the teachings of Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, who emphasize the importance of inner tranquility and control over one's own emotional landscape. When a woman speaks her truth, asserts her boundary, or shares a profound vulnerability with a quiet strength, and then allows that truth to simply exist without seeking immediate validation or reaction, she embodies an almost stoic detachment. She has offered a piece of her authentic self, and then she gracefully recedes, leaving the impact of her words to resonate within the other. This isn't coldness. It's a profound self-respect that signals she doesn't require an immediate response to confirm her worth. Consider the interplay of the masculine and feminine unconscious. In Jungian thought, the masculine unconscious, often associated with logic, action, and external achievement, is profoundly drawn to the depth and mystery of the feminine, especially when that feminine embodies emotional resilience and self-possession. When a woman delivers a potent truth and then goes silent, she is not merely ceasing to speak, she is withdrawing her energy from the dynamic. This withdrawal creates a vacuum, and the masculine psyche, wired for problem-solving and understanding, instinctively rushes to fill it. He becomes the active participant in the internal dialogue, replaying her words, analyzing her demeanor, and attempting to decipher the unspoken meaning behind her confident stillness. This mental engagement, this internal quest for understanding, is the fertile ground for obsession and fantasy. He is not just thinking about her, he is working for her, in the confines of his own mind. This dynamic also touches upon the modern psychological understanding of trauma and self-esteem. Many individuals, both men and women, carry unhealed wounds that manifest as a desperate need for external validation. They constantly seek reassurance, chasing after attention, believing that their worth is contingent upon another's approval. A woman who has embarked on her own journey of individuation, Jung's concept of becoming a whole, integrated self, understands that her value is intrinsic. She has done the difficult, often painful work of confronting her own insecurities, embracing her shadow, and building a robust sense of self-worth from within. When she speaks a powerful truth and then goes silent, she is not performing for an audience. She is simply being. Her silence is not a tactic, but an expression of her secure attachment to herself. This radical self-acceptance is profoundly attractive because it signals emotional maturity and an absence of neediness, a stark contrast to the pervasive seeking of external validation that often defines modern relationships. The impact of this self-possessed silence extends far beyond mere initial attraction. It plants a seed of intrigue that blossoms into a sustained mental and emotional preoccupation. He begins to wonder about her life beyond their interaction, her thoughts, her values, the very fabric of her being. This is where the fantasy begins to take root. His mind, unburdened by her continuous presence or explanations, is free to construct an image of her, to imbue her with qualities that resonate with his deepest longings. This is not about deception. It's about allowing the space for his own psyche to engage with her on a profound, often unconscious level. The less she explains, the more he imagines. The less she chases, the more he pursues, albeit initially in the silent chambers of his own mind. Her silence becomes a canvas upon which he paints his desires, his hopes, and his yearning for connection. This phenomenon, where silence amplifies desire, is intricately linked to the concept of psychological scarcity. In a world inundated with constant communication, where every thought and feeling is often immediately broadcast, the woman who chooses deliberate silence becomes a rare and valuable commodity. She doesn't overshare. She doesn't constantly seek to fill every conversational void. This restraint, this quiet power, makes her profoundly intriguing. The male psyche, much like any system encountering scarcity, assigns greater value to that which is not readily available or easily understood. Her silence, therefore, isn't empty. It's pregnant with possibility, brimming with unspoken narratives that he is compelled to explore. Consider the Stoic emphasis on control over one's internal state. Epictetus, another pillar of Stoicism, taught that true freedom comes from distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. A woman who has cultivated this internal locus of control does not seek to control the man's reaction. She simply controls her own actions and responses. When she delivers a truth and then withdraws into silence, she is exercising profound self-mastery. She trusts in the resonance of her words and in her own inherent worth. rather than attempting to manipulate his response. This very trust, this quiet confidence, is what makes her so captivating. It signals an inner strength that many men, often battling their own internal chaos, deeply admire and subconsciously seek. He becomes fascinated not just by what she said, but by how she said it, and more importantly, by her seemingly effortless detachment from the outcome. The concept of individuation is crucial here. As a woman undergoes her own journey of individuation, she becomes more authentically herself, shedding the layers of societal expectation and external validation. This process often involves intense shadow work, confronting and integrating the rejected parts of her personality, her anger, her ambition, her perceived flaws. When she speaks her truth, it's not a performance, it's an emanation of her integrated self. This authenticity is a powerful magnet. It cuts through the superficiality that often characterizes modern interactions and touches something primal within the male unconscious. His fantasies about her aren't just about physical attraction. They become about the soul connection he senses, the profound depth he instinctively perceives in a woman who is unafraid to be fully herself, even in her silence. The male fantasy, in this context, is not merely sexual. It is often a complex tapestry, woven from yearning, admiration, and a desire for profound connection. He fantasizes about her inner world, the richness of her emotional landscape, the wisdom she embodies. He imagines what it would be like to truly know such a woman, to be privy to her thoughts and feelings. This deep mental engagement is precisely what fosters a lasting impression. He becomes emotionally invested, not because she is pursuing him, but because she has presented him with a puzzle, a mystery he feels compelled to solve. Her silence, after a significant statement, leaves him suspended in a state of contemplation, turning her over and over in his mind, exploring every nuance of her being. This is the fertile ground for enduring fascination, far more potent than any overt act of pursuit. The psychological concept of intermittent reinforcement also plays a subtle yet powerful role in this dynamic. While often discussed in the context of behavioral conditioning, it applies here not as a manipulative tactic, but as an inherent outcome of authentic self-possession. When a woman consistently offers her genuine presence and then, at key moments, retreats into a self-assured silence, she creates a subtle, almost unconscious pattern of intermittent access. This isn't about playing hard to get. It's about being genuinely, deeply self-contained. The man experiences periods of her profound engagement followed by moments of her independent withdrawal, which paradoxically intensifies his focus and desire for her. His mind becomes captivated by the anticipation of her return, the expectation of her next impactful communication, fostering a mental loop that keeps her at the forefront of his thoughts. This echoes the Stoic understanding of what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, repeatedly emphasized the importance of focusing on what is within one's control and letting go of what is not. A woman operating from a place of deep self-worth and individuation understands that a man's reaction is ultimately beyond her control. Her power lies in her integrity, in speaking her truth, and then in the calm, unburdened act of letting go of the outcome. This lack of neediness, this quiet certainty, is a revolutionary act in a world constantly clamoring for external validation. It is this very act of liberation from external approval that makes her so magnetic, so utterly compelling. His fantasies are not born of her pursuit, but of her profound freedom. The journey of individuation for a woman often involves embracing her anima, her inner masculine principle, in a healthy, integrated way. This allows her to assert boundaries, to speak with authority, and to stand firm in her truth without succumbing to emotional reactivity. When she delivers a potent statement and then goes silent, she is manifesting this integrated anima, demonstrating a strength and resolve that is both empowering and deeply attractive. This isn't a performance of masculinity. It's the harmonious balance of her own internal masculine and feminine energies, allowing her to be both deeply empathetic and powerfully self-assured. This internal equilibrium is palpable, and it is what draws him into a sustained mental engagement, compelling him to fantasize about the woman who embodies such a rare and profound wholeness. Ultimately, the woman who understands this psychological truth transcends the need for external validation. Her worth is an internal landscape, cultivated through deep self-awareness and rigorous shadow work. When she speaks, her words carry the weight of her authentic self. When she goes silent, her presence continues to resonate, vibrating with the quiet power of a soul at peace. This isn't about tactics or tricks. It's about embodying a profound truth. She doesn't need to chase. She is the pursuit. She liberates herself from the desperate dance of seeking approval, and in doing so, she becomes undeniably, irresistibly magnetic. The woman who knows her value does not chase, she chooses.